today is a really important and meaningful day to all of us.
Georgia Power breaking ground in West Georgia, a hybrid system to meet the state's surging energy demand. On the site of an old coal plant, this is where a 500-megawatt battery storage system will go, side by side to a roughly 1,500-megawatt combined cycle natural gas plant.
We can ramp these power plants up and down as the needs of our customers change.
And maybe you've heard, Georgia is drawing a specific customer that's especially energy needy, data centers. Plant Wadley will help serve them. And who's paying for their energy usage? I pressed Georgia Power CEO Kim Green. Do you have confidence these data centers will come? And what happens if they don't?
Data centers are coming, and we have signed contracts for over 9,000 megawatts of new data centers.
Not only did Green stress that there are protections in place should any data center back out of their contract early, she went a step further, saying data centers, in fact, will help stabilize power bills for everyday customers.
Data centers are allowing us to keep rates flat and lower than they would otherwise be. So we know that our customers care about affordability. We care about affordability.
The construction will bring in roughly 1,200 temporary workers with about 60 permanent Southern Company workers on site. The Southern Company is funding this new-look plant Wadley by tapping into a $25.6 billion loan by the Trump administration and the Department of Energy. DOE Deputy Secretary James Danley says this will help streamline affordable electricity for decades to come.
Your grandchildren will at some point be consuming the power that comes out of these plants.
Okay, maybe you saw this in the news. An environmental advocate accused of stealing a notebook from the state's largest electrical utility, that's Georgia Power, during hearings before the State Public Service Commission. And maybe you were like, what? Why? And maybe even, what's a Public Service Commission? It's fair. So first, the hearings. The Public Service Commission is an elected body, and Georgia Power has to ask the PSC for permission for a whole lot of stuff, like set the rate for how much you pay for electricity, for one thing. But right now, Georgia Power is asking the PSC for permission to make a colossal amount of new electricity. 10 gigawatts over 6 years. That's like 5 Hoover Dams or 2 nuclear-powered plant Vogels. Georgia Power says they need all that new power because of data centers. And so they say they have to push off going carbon neutral by decades into the future. They want to keep burning coal and to add new natural gas generation. When environmental advocates have asked them to prove that data centers really need all that energy, Georgia Power says the proof is all trade secrets. So far, the PSC has agreed. And that's what's frustrated environmental advocates like Patty Durand, who spoke to GPB in August.
And furthermore, the Public Service Commission allows very heavy redactions and trade secrets. So the contracts between Georgia Power and the data centers are also redacted and trade secreted. So no one will know what they actually charge data centers.
Now, Durand is charged with a felony for allegedly stealing a notebook off the desks of Georgia Power attorneys at the PSC hearing. The notebook supposedly contains trade secrets.
Plus, a major controversial move by the Public Service Commission. They've approved a $16 billion expansion plan for Georgia Power. We break down what it means, and that is where we begin for you tonight. Good evening, and thanks so much for being with us.
11 Live's Doug Richards live for us downtown. Doug, how does the expansion affect rates?
Well, Georgia Power says that the expansion will put what it calls downward pressure on residential rates. But there were certainly a few skeptics on hand when the PSC made its final vote as an all-Republican board.
I really hope that y'all do consider delaying the vote. Jason Shaw, you have full authority to do that today. You can just say we're not going to do it today. You could do that.
In the audience, the voices of opposition were the loudest. As the Public Service Commission pondered the expansion of Georgia Power's capacity, which backers said would encourage new businesses, they waved off efforts to get them to delay the measure so that 2 new Democrats on the panel could vote.
All in favor of staff's recommendation?
People say nay! People say nay!
It was the PSC's last vote of the year, and it passed unanimously.
We stuck to that. And that's what we'll continue to do. Regardless of who's sitting on this bench, we'll welcome them then, and they'll be part of the team too. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Have a good Christmas.
Critics said that the vote was weighted to provide more power to massive data centers. They said that the vote also failed to take into account the use of more alternative fuels, and they were not particularly happy that they felt that the vote was rushed in order to take place with an all-Republican board.
Hi there, this is Grace Rodriguez with WJCL 22 along Little Neck Road in Chatham County as a 300-year-old tree is currently being removed by Georgia Power staff. Representatives of Georgia Power wouldn't speak with us on camera, but they gave me this paper statement acknowledging the cultural and historic significance of this tree, saying that they've explored all options and unfortunately, quote, the tree must be removed. Removal began at 9 a.m. Wednesday, and over a dozen staff, local and state police are here, as well as community members who oppose the tree's removal. Stick with us on air and online at WJCL.com for the latest updates.
I'm Sharonda, and I'm a project manager at the Customer Care Center. What I love about my job is that no day is the same, but each day we're providing an exceptional experience to our customers.
This is Sharonda. How may I help you?
We really want our customers to feel valued and heard. Affordability is one of the biggest concerns that we hear, and that's why Georgia Power froze base rates last year. Our base rate is something customers can depend on, and I love sharing that news.
Well, the demands of data centers is costing some Coweta County families their homes. They've been given an ultimatum by Georgia Power to sell their homes or have them taken away by the state. The power giant wants to build a 35-mile-long transmission line to keep up with the demand, and it's willing to use a legal action called eminent domain to take land without compensation if necessary. Residents say they are being bullied.
To us, it's theft. It's literally a billion-dollar company stealing land from smaller people, people who can't fight back. We don't have the money to fight Georgia Power.
Georgia Power responded by saying they have worked hard to negotiate in good faith and make the process as easy as possible for residents forced to relocate.
We see you and we hear you, and we want this process to be respectful and transparent. Eminent domain is always, a last resort for us, and it's something we never want to do.
An estimated 70 to 80% of the new transmission line will serve data centers. The rest will serve the state's growing residential and commercial demand.
All righty. Hey, everybody. This Georgia family, as you've seen in the last video, there's a video before this. She said it's the longer video here. Anyway, and here, Georgia Power to hold public meeting on proposed 75-mile transmission line project in Swainsboro, Georgia. That's today from 3:30 to 5 p.m. or 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Nordson Center. If you live in that area, it's for the Hatch Wadley 500 kilovolt transmission line project. And there's the times again there. It's going to say why it's being proposed, preliminary transmission line routing, type of infrastructure, environmental considerations, land acquisition, there you go, construction and project planning. I wonder how many of these people's houses will get took from them like this girl here. Anyway, and here is something I found too. This is from February in Chatham County. Family fights to save 300-year-old Chatham County oak. The oak, which has lived to see the founding of the United States, faces removal for a Georgia Power expansion project. And as you can see, this is it here. Was it. And unfortunately, the tree must be removed. They did cut this tree down, as you've seen in the clip. 300-year-old tree. Arborists with the Chatham County have evaluated the tree and found it satisfies the criteria for an exceptional tree, considers the tree a public landmark, and protects it from destruction and or endangerment per the Chatham County Land Disturbing Activities Ordinance. A centuries-old piece of it disappeared. It's already gone. 300-year-old oak tree referred to by locals as the one off of Little Neck Road, has already been cut down. It has survived countless moments in history and suspected to have been a Chatham County resident since before English settlers colonized Georgia. It was so beautiful, and it meant so much to us, and we never thought we would lose it, Alan Grizzard said. It's been in his family for 98 years. He inherited the land and tree from his family and has plans to leave it for his 1-year-old grandson one day. Now the tree will not make it to see grandson turn number 2 years old. It's just sad to see this. These people don't care about things like we do, like he says, a table as a keepsake or something like that for the tree really would only be heartbreaking to me, and I can relate to that because I had a tree in my front yard that I did not want cut down, and I didn't want none of it because it was just too heartbreaking to think about. He says, we also know that there are workarounds. They do not have to cut the tree down, but cutting the tree down will make it easier and cheaper for Georgia Power. That's all it's all about. These people being told they need to sell their homes to them, or they'll just take them. There are workarounds, and it's too easy to. This is easier, just cut it down. Just take these people's house. This tree was 300 years old, and they just cut it down. They don't care. There are workarounds. And there's the reasons they gave. I'm sure they did explore every possible option. Like they're doing with this family here. And countless other families that's going to be going through the same thing. These people here in Swainsboro. Anywho, y'all take care. Have a great rest of your day. And make sure you join Starfish Troopers tonight at 3 p.m. My time. It's 8 p.m. their time. So, anyways, the links are below for that and all the articles and videos. Just anyway, all the links will be below. Take care, y'all. I'll see y'all then. Peace.